Good afternoon, everyone. Uh, Respected Dean Agri, respected Dean PGS, and my dear colleagues in the Department of ARM and Economics, and my dear students. This actually we have done a work with the ICSSR on distress in Kaveri Delta zone, and actually uh, yesterday evening only Dr. Venkatesa Palanichami, he told me to come out with a presentation. And university has made it a compulsion to whoever comes here must take a class. It's a compulsion, out of compulsion. So evening they told me, and I thought I was reading a newspaper also in which and there was a policy by the government of Tamil Nadu that they have banned. You can go to PPT. They have banned some 6 insecticide. Why? Why they have banned? Do you know anything? It is not that the insecticides are resistant or it is not working. It is working with the farmer's life than insect's life, right? So the policy of banning insecticide is not the problem with insecticide killing insects. It is the problem of insecticide used for suicide. So that has made me to go for this, because I have done exercise on this. We have done a project on ICSSR, Indian Council of Social Science Research Supported Research Scheme, and already submitted, and we are in the way of publishing it. But I have taken some input from there and trying to answer the Tamil Nadu government policy. Why the Tamil Nadu government has taken a policy of this is ridiculous also the other side, because the insecticides are very effective on insects, also on the farmers. So that's why I have taken this topic, that why don't we simply say connect these two policy issues of the government and issues with the agrarian crisis. What are the we know all the farmers all through the decades, or from our beginning of agriculture, there were lot of problem with agriculture, and farmers are under distress in any stage, whether it is pre green revolution or at the period of green revolution, and it is going on. But still then, why it has come to a place where in which that's what recently. The other thing is, recently many countries they are banning insecticides because of resistance, resurgence, many things. But it's in only our state or our country where in which we are banning the pesticide because they are more effective on farmers than insects. So that's why I have taken that policy change by the government of Tamil Nadu. That is within 2 days earlier, actually, they have taken. So that has go for this topic, especially. Uh, the agrarian research are not new to the Indian farmers. That's what I say. They are, but farmer suicides are new to us. That's a resultant, so there is a prolonged agrarian crisis that has led to widespread distress among the farmers. We know all along the history of agriculture. We know நாங்க நிறைய அந்த காலத்துல கூட படம் பார்த்துருவீங்க. பழைய படங்களை பார்த்தா கூட the same thing, same story repeats, but that is more pronounced nowadays. Distress among the farmers, and the farmers, because of they lose pleasure in economic activities, get addicted to smoking, alcohol, drugs, resort to non-institutional borrowing for unproductive purpose. இதெல்லாம் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ண வேண்டியதே இல்லை. You know very well. If you know a rural fabric, a rural condition, then you need not to explain much more, and encounter conflict with the family members and society, and even commit suicide. And that we were not having a record of farmers' suicides before 1994. Before 1994, there were not at all a record on farmer suicide. So might be because they might happen here and there. But now it is, many places it happens. Whether it is grown, well grown, I'll come with that also. And now the farmer societies are not restricted to, dry land area like that. Well developed area also. You got more suicides in Punjab, more suicide in Andhra Pradesh, and more suicide in Tamil Nadu also. Well grown, agriculturally well developed states also. Okay, so that in between 1995 and 2020, a total number of 3,76,000 farmers and agriculture laborers have committed suicide in India at the rate of more than 10,000 per annum, per year. More than 10,000 people. National Crime Records Bureau says. National Crime Records Bureau says. And that this has made actually in we have analyzed which are the districts which has more of suicides in Tamil Nadu, especially Nagapattinam district and Kadalur district. They have more number of suicides. So that's why we conducted this small research funded by ICSSR in those districts, Kadalur and Nagapattinam. Always we say this one, you must always remember that wherever rice is grown, paddy is grown, paddy goes with poverty. Paddy goes with the poverty. Wherever paddy is grown, poverty is pronounced more. And you can see that in any state or any district which has got more of paddy crop, you can see more of poverty. The simplest thumb rule, like you can say take. And also there you get more of suicide also. There you get more suicide also. The next one. So that's what said, where it happens, whether more less developed agriculture regions, no, it's the suicides are happening more in the highly developed states in India, like Punjab, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu, than the less developed states like Bihar, West Bengal, and Uttar Pradesh. So more suicide happens in more developed states and more agriculture developed states. That's what this shows. And actually, and also this is where more agriculture diversity are also said to be more indebted. The diversity is more in that state, they are more indebted. And this is where logically, mostly we presume that most developed states there will be less suicide, and more diversity means less suicide. But that is reverse here. Actually, the logic is always upside down. Logic is always upside down. We presume that highly developed, high diversity states have to have lesser suicide, but it's vice versa. It is ulta, where in which the logic is always upside down. So, and also the suicides are concentrated among small and marginal farmers, mostly concentrated in small and marginal farmers, and of course, fall in water levels, high input costs, especially seeds, and a common price crash in the prices, market prices. These are the major reasons in which most of the suicides happens. Next, and in going when we considered Nagapattinam district as a highest suicide I say highest suicide incidents in 2014. But upon our inquiry, and there were many reasons in which normal deaths were also considered as suicidal death. There are many reasons. Politically, they were converted, but still then the suicides are more. We must consider that. And why? What is the major impact of agrarian crisis? So when they are not interested in the family is not interested in continuing agriculture, so agriculture production, decelerating growth of agriculture production GDP, marginalization of landholding, increasing poverty gap, and agriculture becoming non-remunerative, declining public investment in rural infrastructure, growing irrelevance of price support policies. You say MSP, but are we buying at MSP? We are not at all buying MSP. Government is not buying. Nobody is buying MSP. MSc is irrelevant. MSP is relevant. MSP may be relevant for those farmers in Punjab and part of Uttar Pradesh, but it's not relevant for even Tamil Nadu farmers. So that it becomes, all the support policies have become irrelevant, and widening income disparity between rural and urban households, and between cultivator of land and non-cultivators. Okay, next. So this is our we have done this work in Kaveri Delta of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, especially districts of Nagapattinam, Tiruvarur, and Mayiladuthurai district, S5 Mayiladuthurai, present Mayiladuthurai district, as well as Kadalur district, which are said to be the tail end area of Kaveri Delta. To document the socio-economic and psychological profile of the farmers respondent, to assess the impact of distress yielding factors of farmers respondents, and to evaluate the farm business performance of farmers respondent, and to study the extent of indebtedness and pattern of capital used by the farmers, to identify the constraint faced by the farmers, and to suggest appropriate policy measures. Actually, we have as an socio-economic researcher, we have a lot of problem in getting data. Initially, while presenting this proposal in front of ICSS, I said we can get data to those for family details of farmers who ended their life with the suicide. And when you go and collect, try to collect these data, even names of the farmer, it is very difficult. But record is that there are 14 farmers died out of suicide in Nagapattinam district in 2014-15. But you don't get data on that. You don't get even names. And that was, we made many exits. By the time the project is for 2 years, by the time the 1 year was over, by the time we got the list of farmers from an AD office at Tiruvarur district headquarters, and with all the influences that we have through our friends and other, we got that list. This is how our research projects are being carried out. Sometimes I always somebody was asking question also to the earlier presenter who's for PhD, but sometimes it is very difficult to get the data itself. So how come we'll be proceeding further? But anyway, we have to do something is better than nothing. So we have to do the research. We have to come out with some suggestions or some policy measures. That's what I said. No, now the government of Tamil Nadu has taken a decision to ban pesticides. Maybe out of some policy given by some researchers. They need some input. We have to come out with some research output so that we can convince them that you should at least, if you are not banning some other thing, private money lenders, at least you must ban pesticides, which is used by the farmers to end their life. So with this, there are, of course, for any socio-economist, we have lot of limitations inside going with. So you think of an elephant, finally we come out with a rat in our research proposals. We all that happens, but still then we do. Still then we do because for our existence, to show that we are also a socio-economist, we must be doing agroeconomist. We must be doing certain meaningful research and come out with. This is what my aim. Sorry, my experience with this project. My experience with this project. Okay, next. So methodology, I said we could individual and regional scales. We have taken factors responsible for that, and we have categorized the farmers and regions based on the severity of agrarian distress. And we have done we have run a logistic regression to find out the factors influence the farmers, that significant factor that influence the farmers, to and scoring techniques like what we have just now seen, that also we have done. So next, we have converted the raw scores into mean severity scores, MSS. This is what we have done. What all the in the distress proneness of the farmers, we developed scales, and we have used farmers who endorsed suicide ideation, pursued lawyer, positive distraction strategy, all those things we have done. Next. And this is what we have used, what is that? Soil water index, also used for monitoring droughts and farmer suicide rate. He has used. Since suicide is the only postmortem indicator of farmers' distress, uh, Reddy et al. Developed a composite farmers' distress index to capture the complexity and multidimensionality of distress that can be used as a policy tool. The next. So we have used 50 indicators were identified based on 7 dimensions of agrarian distress: exposure to hazard, sensitivity, adaptive capacity, mitigation and adaptation strategies, triggers, socio-psychological aspects and impacts. And they were all normalized, and we have done all this thing, of course, when you construct methodology. Next. He has done with the crisis index with the 6 indicators. Next. So this is our method and material. We have taken Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, where in which we have a sampling design. Kadalur 25, Mayiladuthurai 56, Nagapattinam 54, and Thiruvarur 72, and Karaikal district 33. These are the issues faced by farmers in the study area, and their frequencies also we have given, and most of the stress. It's the first one. Second by sleeplessness. And we have also categorized the farmers, and we have got the psychological profile of the farmers respondent based on the farmer category in the study area. Marginal farmers 124, and they ranked the stress as the major criteria, and small farmers again sleeplessness and headache, also stress, and most medium farmers, stress was a major psychological profile, and for large farmers it is sleeplessness. So major factor concerning distress was indebtedness. They cause financial stress and loss of social status in some cases. Most of the farmers are indebted. Uh, and only 5.41% of the deceased farmers did not avail credit. In the sense, most of the farmers who ended their lives are said to be indebted or availed credit, whether it is from institutional or non-institutional agencies. And that was a major. And more than 3/4 of the deceased farmers have availed credit ranging from 15,000 to 2,14,990. 2,919 only. That money only killed them. That one money only made them to end their life. You see, 2 lakhs amount. And this created heavy financial burdens to the farmers, which elevated their stress condition, low repayment capacity, and everything. You study everything in the book. Normally, any economics book that condition distress. When distress, the major category or major reason in our country situation is indebtedness, or getting credit from, especially with the non-institutional financing agency, like money lenders, landlords, like that. Okay. Okay. And also there is a finding which says that nearly half of the farmers avail credit from both institutional and private sources, and it shows that insufficiency of credit availability from institutional sources. We actually, the government of India, whether it's nationalization of bank, now again privatization of bank, we are entering in the era of privatization of bank. And we try to, we say that credit deepening and credit widening, in which more and more farmers or more and more rural people are should be brought under the fold of institutional credit, and then more and more amount has to be plowed to them, or more and more amount has to be given to the farmers. Credit deepening, but it is not happening. Our institutional agencies never give money to the small and marginal farmers. And you can see that when a farmer or anybody goes and stands in front of a bank, how much he will be ill-treated. Huh? And you see, so whereas some others who is said to be cheaters, when they go, they will be given with all the welcome in the bank. Huh? That happens. And you know the study, whatever we study in the WhatsApp, everything, you get information and how those who are cheating the banks are being treated. Huh? Mm. The other day also I've seen WhatsApp. The other next yesterday, our finance minister said we cannot give details of loan availed by Adani Group, right? But if you are not giving, if a farmer gets a loan and he is not paying back, his land will be sold on auction. You'll get, you see, you open today's any newspaper that these are the properties for auction by the bank. So this is the way in which, anyway, uh, that happens. That's what it says. Our institutional financing still is a failure for farming sector in India. That's why we get a lot of suicides again. Okay, next. So as and I told psychological profiles of farmers, uh, where we said this again, we present the same stress is the major reason. But of course, farmers also come with their health problem like blood pressure. That's what we were discussing. Diabetics also. They were also important reason for going for ending their life. Like impact of distress yielding factors of farmers respond and for the in the study area, we have taken distress prone index. That's what yesterday the previous slide also. Distress proneness index, in which the major factors are said to be age, family size, and the family type is that is whether it is joint family or uh, the otherwise family size, subsidiary occupation, and irrigation facility. And so the major factors influencing are debt. You know very well that debt is major factor, highly, factors, insignificant factor. Next, number of indebted households in the sample survey, almost more than 96 average outstanding we have given, and almost more than 80% of the households are indebted, especially in the case of marginal, small, uh, and also the large sized farms. Next, sources of institutional loan and indebtedness. Again, cooperative bank, commercial bank, private banks, and we have taken three categories, and in which mostly these marginal farmers and small farmers goes to private banks, especially marginal farmer, they goes to private banks only because you have to give security also. Others, small and medium and large farmers, they have security, they can go to other banks, whether it is cooperative, commercial bank. But most of the uh, marginal, most of the marginal farmers, they go to mostly to the private banks, mostly to the private banks with a lot of outstanding. That's the problem we have. Next. So sources of non-institutional agency, again you can see that mostly the marginal farmers goes to the private, especially they go to with uh, mostly with private money lenders, the marginal farmers. That's obviously they'll be going to them only, and that's why because our institutional agencies are not serving in the area, in the study area, whether it is all over India also. Our even if you take a major macroeconomic data, you can see that most of the still our farmers, especially marginal and small farmers, they depend on private money lenders than the institutional agencies. Next. Causes of indebtedness of the farmers. The main cause is insufficiency of income. In a farming is not a profitable venture till date. So the major cause is insufficiency of income, followed by low yield, and the low yield is a cause for insufficiency of income. Low yield, actually, low yield is causing your insufficiency of income. That's why. And of course, the determinants of indebtedness, variation, variable definition, descriptive statistics of farmers respond in the study area. You can see how already we have given the farm size and type of farm and indebtedness are the reasons for farmer suicide. And same thing, you can see this is socio-economic profile, and that shows that debtness is more with the farmers. And total count is 240, and in which you got nearly 81,939 per person of debtness. Okay, next one. The determinants of indebtedness, again, we see the age, farm size, and dependent members if it is more, and of course, and assets have a negative. Assets has negative significance. That means if you have more assets, indebtedness is less with that. This is proven, already proven. Whatever our study also says that it confirms all our earlier studies. Next, sir. So again, we face the constraint first by the farmer responded in the study area. We know the ecological constraint. Now you cannot increase the yield. We got lot of problem soils, sodic soils. There are many seawater intrusion because it happens to be a seashore area, and you don't get all these constraints. Second, economic constraint, and suppose all others also to be following. So major constraint is ecological constraint. The next. So is it that loan wire is a good solution for that? And people say whether government of after government they try to bring in loan waiver or form loan waiver schemes, and of course it will uh, over time the frequent loan waiver has led to moral hazard problem. So that's what he say. Whenever the farmer gets a loan from bank, he thinks that he need not to pay. He need not to pay because many and the next government will come and they'll waive the loan. So loan waiver has become a moral hazard among the farmers. So and as I told you, the loan waivers never benefit small and marginal farmers. They will benefit only whether so loan waiver through cooperative bank. Who is getting loan from cooperative bank nowadays? Who is getting loan from the cooperative bank? Politically influential person. There are a lot of political interference in cooperative societies. They should be out of political influences, but everything is politically influenced. Hence, a common man or a common farmer doesn't get benefit out of the any loan waiver scheme. Every government announces cooperative loan waiver, all these things, and it is not benefiting the farmers directly. So we must see any solution. We try to address the agrarian distress should be directed towards enabling the farmers to help themselves and sustain on their own. Next. So we must strengthen the institutional credit sources and try to see that we must try to reach the farmers through alternatives like self-help groups, through microfinancing, and there are also a lot of issues. Again, there are also a lot of issues through microfinancing, and we must try to change at a higher level policy changes uh, to expected to ensure that sufficient credit inputs, water, and technical advice are available to all needy farmers. And as I was telling you in the beginning, that there is a policy change in the government of Tamil Nadu that they have changed, they have banned the use of pesticide again. So, not that they are ineffective on the insects, but they are effective on the farmers. So, we must come out with the good level policy. I always say this, which policy, we may not be knowing, but one thing, uh, some good policies comes out of even bad politician. And sometimes we may get a bad policy from good politician. I don't want to say who is good politician or who is bad politician, but I'm trying to see that because in the case of you say a direct transfer to the farmer, especially in Pondicherry, instead of ration system, people say people simply transfer the amount of rice, amount of instead of giving rice, instead of giving rice through ration shop at a subsidized rate, government of Pondicherry transfers the money to the beneficiaries directly. Whether this policy is good or bad, the aim is important. Suppose you must be studying in your microeconomics first course is that if your policy, if your intention is to increase the consumption of food grains, then you must give subsidized food grains. You interest is try to see that the standard of living of people improves, and whereas you are not bothered about food grain, increasing food grain consumption, you are not interested, then money transfer is important. So it all depends upon the idea of your policy. Now the central government, we followed the central government. There was a lieutenant governor called Kiran Bedi. She changed this from instead of giving rice grains through ration shop, transfer the money directly to the beneficiaries. And it's all depends upon the policy idea that you have, right? We have, from our microeconomics, we can answer all these policy ideas. Even, that was a policy long back. It was when I was a student of PhD in our own department, economics. There was a policy brought in by a former chief minister, Dr. Jayalalitha, that you will be given with you will be metered. Electricity will be metered, but at the same time you'll be given with a certain amount for putting electricity meter in your field for farmers. Now we are giving electricity free up to the farmers, right? So as I was telling you, I'm again going back. Even now, the direct transfer of money to the farmers by the central government. All the policies you have to evaluate as an economic student. We must be evaluate the policies and its intention and what it is going to have an impact. That's why again I'm saying we get good policies from even bad politicians, and sometimes we get bad policy from good politicians, right? So we have to come out. These are the certain policy taken by people, and how the policy changes at a higher level. which they come out with are expected to, whatever the policy, it must see that it addresses to the small and marginal farmers, that gives sufficient credit, sufficient inputs, whether it is subsidized or free or at market rate, whatever it may be, and water, including water and technical advice are available to the needy farmers. Next, sir. Water management practices, insurance claims. Insurance is a big area. Now, once farmers pays means they feel that the money should be given immediately after harvest. That should be the insurance policy. That's what they expect. But central government says only we have taluk level data, says that whether the crop is good harvest or not, whether you have to be paid with insurance amount. Okay, there are many things. In Pondicherry, government pays all the premium of the farmers um, to the central government through the insurance companies. And once harvest is over, they expect insurance money from companies. Whether it is good harvest, bad harvest, everything. That's what you know. Insurance claim, water saving crops, you must go. You must try to have a public-private partnership mode for all the areas. Next, sir. This is what, this is every, ever-long solution. When I started studying MSc, the same solution. Government go with public-private partnership. We must try to see that all the inputs are given at the free of cost. And this is what every time we say, but still they are relevant. All those things I listed are relevant. Insurance policy, supplying inputs, supplying technology are all important. But still we have in many areas, especially in the case of farm mechanization, we also done a project funded by ICSSR on farm mechanization. உங்க டீன் கேஷுவலாக ஒரு தடவை he was working at காட்டுப்பாக்கம். He came to me and he said, இந்த மாதிரி I am writing a proposal for ICSSR, எதிலப்பா பண்ணலாம், farm mechanization போடான்னு. I just then idea he gave me. Then we got a project on farm mechanization. Farm mechanization is an area where we can do a lot of work, and it is being done. It is being a progressive area now, a progressive area which addresses many issues of farmers nowadays. Farm mechanization is a good area where in which you can do a lot. A lot of research can be done on socio-economic issues of farm mechanization. And that's what my again I say this. Yesterday I got that news. This is our result. I just made an presentation out of this. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I always say this. A teacher is a senior student. A teacher is a senior student, and a student is a junior teacher. We can learn from each other. You can learn from each other. So you can tell me any views of you on this. And I have not made a big presentation. Simplest. That was a policy yesterday. Then this was the result I had. So I made both the things, and saying that ரொம்ப ரொம்ப விபரீதமான ஒரு சுச்சுவேஷன் இல்லை, ஒரு இது கெமிக்கலை தடை பண்றாங்க. எதுக்குன்னா chemical were more effective on farmers than insects. விவசாயிக்கு விஷமா பயன்படுது, பூச்சி மருந்தா பயன்படலை. அதுதான் இல்லையா? அதனாலதான் இந்த பாலிசி எடுக்கிறாங்க. ரைட். Any doubts? Any suggestion? Right. Any discussion on this? Leave alone. Doubts தேவையில்லை. இது ஒன்றும் பெருசா presentation கிடையாது. Any suggestions? Any additions? Any deletions?
So, one of my research on IPM, actually, I collected the information of pesticide used by farmers. Most of the farmers are, applying the pesticide before the insect comes. And
They say prophylactic measure. Prophylactic measure.
Because after it, actually, it is infected. Definitely, it is lead to some crop failure. So, in order to prevent the incidents, pest incidents. Before pest incidents itself, there, many farmers are used to apply the chemicals. That is another problem with the farmers because of, to safeguard the crop. So
They say, entomologists of plant production, they
Mm.
say calendar of operation,
Mm.
which spraying is on that day, 35th day after planting, you must spray. And that they are also changing. Technology is also changing as a matter. So, two things. In 2000, I had a training in Institute of Economic Growth on environmental economics for 40 days, funded by World Bank. When I came back, I saw in my own village, there were tea grasses, tea boards, and the fields, paddy fields. You know that to make birds to sit on the field, in the IPM concept.
Yes.
Then I applied a proposal in the World Bank. They gave me in those days, 1999, 8.4 lakhs is a big amount. They gave me uh, cell phone, sorry, printers, computers, and everything. But why I'm telling is, uh, in those days only they got IPM concepts. Still, we are not able to go into the fields. We have not convinced the farmers to go adopt for IPM. IPM could be one of the
Yeah,
answer.
very good. Actually, very good technology. Still, it is not coming up because of the holistic approach. So,
And of
many
course,
farmers has to join hands, including the selecting the crops and selecting the border crops and many simple technology that is available that you can reduce the pest incidence.
exactly. Actually, that's what nowadays farmers, consumers are more educative, and they try to pick with low pesticide residue uh, product or no pesticide residue product. And as consumer awareness increases, there there is a possibility for selling by the farmers in a premium market with more price for their products. And the other way, and I was asking a student in a classroom, what is the way in which double the farmers? You just double the price. What is the way in which they increase doubling the farmers? Just multiply into two. Price of paddy or any crop for that matter, then farmers income is doubled. Simple. How we can increase? Okay, that is question is answer is simple, but is it possible? Yes, is it possible by coming out with a product of no pesticide, no pesticide residue. When our nowadays our products are being exported and are being rejected because of pesticide residue in a international market. So you can work out not only international market, locally also. Nowadays people are becoming more and more conscious. Now since we get more of diabetes, more of blood pressure, more of cancer. Every people are those who are affordable. They are trying to get premium product, organic products, and there we could answer for that. And of course, the government of India is also taking simplest logic. Before 2050, what agriculture we followed? If you go and see the statistics, there was no pesticide, there was no fertilizer, very, very meager, very, very meager. So going back is very simplest. How could they were able to solve? Because in a farm, we disintegrated farm. Farm means animal, birds, field, tree. Farm means all these should be are the components. We disintegrated. Even when our university was disintegrated into veterinary university and agriculture university, MS Swaminathan objected it. You should not disintegrate. Likewise, in a farmer means everything is, you must have everything. Now we say integrated farming again, right? Okay. Coming
Yeah,
back
you
is
also mentioned in your result there is now insufficient and unsecured income.
income.
Yeah, so if they
Low
want
yield,
to have
because low yield.
yeah, because a low yield, and also if they want to have a regular and secured income, definitely they have to think about this diversification.
Integrated farming or diversification, adopting organic, and there is no single solution. We cannot say, if you ask what is the singular solution, we cannot say. But there are many policies which government also thinks, whether it is state government or central government, they are thinking parampara yojana, that organic farming. There are many projects or programs by the central government, state government. All they are trying to support the farmers, trying to avoid this, because it's also farmer society is a major issue nowadays in all the states, and as I told, major developed states. So they are trying to address all those things. But in fact, I told you, there are many suicides which are being made because the cotton 2014 சொன்ன 1 or 2 தான் actual real death. மீதி எல்லாம் government started giving 5 lakhs to those family where farmer ended of life suicide உடனே ஒரு நேச்சுரல் டெத் எல்லாம் கொண்டு வந்து 14 ஆக்கிட்டாங்க, ரைட்? இந்த திருவாரூர் டிஸ்ட்ரிக்ட்ல when I discussed with the ADA, this is for in camera, right? It's an in camera. So for discussion, that is also happening. 14 is not 14. It is only 1 or 2. But they were made because they started giving 14 lakhs, 5 lakhs for the family of those affected family. So they started including every family. And வேற தண்ணி அடிச்சு அவன் செத்து போயிருந்தா கூட அவனை கொண்டு வந்து சூசைடு அட்டம்ப்டா சேர்த்து அவங்க எழுதிக்கிட்டாங்க. That happens. It's all there in the society. And as a researcher, we have to take that also. Some parts it is also included. Their family is also included, because otherwise we will not be getting enough sample. இல்லையா? நம்ம 14 தான் வாங்குறோம் லிஸ்ட். Those all these things are there, of course. But still we have to say, come out with a meaningful thing. And this type of research are also being accepted for publication some places with high rated high impact factor journals. Sometimes we get published. So thank you for the opportunity given by the Dean Agri, Dean PGS, and the head of the Department of ARM, and all the faculties, and also for all the students. I thank you once again for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
I thank PG Dean and Dean Agri for giving this opportunity to conduct the Viva OC and to deliver the guest lecture. And I thank Dr. Pushparaj, my own classmate and friend, so Dean Bajankova, and for accepting our invitation very shortly. And yesterday evening only he came to know that he has to deliver a guest lecture. So thank you for the good lecture. Definitely, it is the one we need to think about. Something we have to do something for the farmers. Okay, so we have to prevent them. And, if you ban the pesticide, definitely there are pros and cons are there. Okay, we have that we can also think about. For students, can think about that, and you can take up a project on this also. Okay, so we have to do something for the farmers always. Okay, so maybe the future is in your hand. Now we are a little bit, not a little bit, we are too much worried about the future of agriculture. It is in your hand only. So you have to think about how to survive in the future, okay, with agriculture. So definitely it's a good topic, Pushparaj. So we have made it very, very effective guest lecture that is importance which is having more important at this moment. I really thank the Pushparaj and also the students who have having exam now. So you have spent your more time and lunch time. So you are getting disturbed, I think. So thank you for the staff and especially coordinator Dr. M. Chandra Kumar for taking a very serious steps to complete this Viva OC in a very short period. Thank you so much.